Master, we're ready.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Here in San Francisco, we have inclement weather, meaning bad weather. And so it is very nice of all of you to be able to make it here. We appreciate it. We appreciate your coming. We appreciate the bad weather god to cooperate a little bit. San Francisco, we've been spared from the worst of the storm right now in our area. All right. Okay. It's a white car. All right. So, red wheels. So tonight, let's continue with discussing Master YongHua's teachings during a Chanchi.
I'm gonna start.
最早就发这个愿，到晚间呢要算一算这个账。今天一早就发的愿，我是不是照我这个愿去做了的呢？
What about evening? You should do the maths. Today, I made a vow early in the morning. Did I follow through my vow?
是不是我发愿要不要贪心这个贪心还更大。
Did I make a vow not to be greedy, but my greedy mind became bigger?
要没有嗔心的脾气也更多，没有痴心做一点什么事都糊涂就来了。
I vow not to have angry mind, but did I have bigger temper? I vow not to have stupid mind, but did I get confused in everything I did?
那算一算，这样是不是这样？所以呀，时时刻己无礼。
You should do the math. Was it like that? So you should restrain yourself and observe properties all the time.
Okay, proprieties. All right.
Proprieties, sorry.
Li. In Chinese, is proprieties? Help me out. Is that what it means, proprieties? What Master YongHua is talking about is a continuation of last night. Last night he talked about, before we ended, he talked about every morning you get up and you make a vow. I vow not to be angry, not to be greedy, not to be stupid today. So he continued by saying that not only should you make the vow or make the resolve, but you should also check yourself and evaluate yourself, do a self-assessment at the end of the day. How did I do? Did I manage to be less greedy, less angry, less stupid? And that's what I was hoping to drive at. Being greedy, angry, and stupid is basically how we are made up. We have all these habit energies that make us indulge in the three poisons. The three poisons are constantly emerging, arising up in our mind. So that's why as long we hear in our Saha world, that we'll have these very hard to break tendencies of being greedy, of being angry, and being stupid. And so cultivation to me is about to resolve to reduce your anger, your greed, and your stupidity gradually. And the way he taught is that you should check yourself every day. I think to check yourself every day would tend to make you get lost in the details. Hi, Heidi. You had any problems with the weather?
Sorry, Thầy. Oh, no, I don't have problem. Jane said, and Venerable Sin Sun picked me up, Thầy.
Yeah, you didn't have any problems with the bad weather here, but our people have problems with their phones.
I don't have. Oh,
They ran out of juice. Anyway, well, welcome. Glad to have you back. Okay, so to me, to check yourself every day like that is probably an overkill. It's too much. Okay, because if you do check yourself like that, I think it will get in the way of your seeing the big picture. The big picture is not worry about the small details, but to plant the seeds for lifting yourself above your normal greed, anger, and stupidity. Because what he's doing here, he's teaching here, is a gradual Dharma, where you check yourself every day and you cut back daily, gradually. And to me, it's I prefer the sudden teaching, where you plant the seeds to go in the direction, and then naturally, eventually, you take a leap. Okay. All right. So anyway, so either way works. His is probably more practical, more manageable for most of us. I prefer. I mean, this is a kind of method that you can do to check yourself. Meaning that if you don't have anyone to look over your shoulders and guide you, this is what you ought to do. You need to check yourself. Whereas in our temples, I sort of look over your shoulders and keep an eye on you, so that the instruction will be given to you at the proper time when it's needed. Okay. So, for example, in our environment, you may find yourself regressing. Okay, you regress, and if you follow his methodology, then you panic. You say, "I regress again today, like yesterday and the day before yesterday. Oh my God, I'm in big trouble." Whereas, and if you do that, then you will lose self-confidence in yourself. Okay, so there's a drawback to this method by micromanaging yourself. Whereas I'm more interested in cultivation, to me, is long-term, is long-range thinking. I would sacrifice some regression temporarily in order to build up momentum to leap. Sometimes you need to get in trouble in order to be able to leap. Okay? And so again, you need to understand the process here. What he's teaching here is more gradual teaching. What I'm teaching you is this, as well as the certain teaching where you look at the big picture and you build momentum. You don't worry about micro results. Okay? So we use both, basically. Okay, now observe proprieties fully. 客己复礼. Is that what it means? Observe proprieties in Chinese? I really don't understand this Confucian part of the teaching, the li. Yes, I can't see very well. Is it 8 or 9? 8, okay.
Master, I don't really know the word propriety that well, but to me, li means like observe the courtesy, observe social conventions.
Okay, li to me, from my general understanding of the teaching of Confucius, li is one of the major group of teachings from Confucius. And li to me seems to be more like etiquette, like more like conventions, So it really not proprieties to me, okay? Because this is important. What we call here in the U.S. is not just what we call here is cultures, maybe more in line with that. The culture concept here in English involves all that, all the conventional wisdom, but also has put particular emphasis on the different cultural, the cultural differences. Okay, so I don't think it's proprieties at all. So 算一算这样子是不是这样子？所以时时刻刻以复礼。So what does it mean 复礼？observe or maintain proper etiquette or what? Yes, 3.
Fu is return. So there's this concept that you
lost it and you're recovering.
Yes. And then especially in Chinese Confucianism, there's a lot of this idea that we used to be more proper and more upright. So a lot of this is, return to that state.
Confucius doesn't have a Buddha state. What are you talking about?
It's I think it's more like historic. Like this is idea in Chinese culture that things were very good like a long time ago, like a few thousand years ago. That's why, especially for the emperors, they always want to observe the like really ancient time emperors, like Huangdi, Sanhuang Wudi. They felt that's the ultimate state of perfect morality, and they want to. There's this idea that the old traditions are better.
There's also a section in Confucius teaching where they are very keen about ceremonies. Is this Li or is this another section?
That's Li.
Li, because like when you see the emperor, there's a certain way of behavior. When you see the officials, there's a different set of standards, and you see lower level people, it's also you have a certain level of communications and behavior and proper etiquette and so forth. Okay, but also ceremonies as well. It seems to me that they spend a lot of time doing ceremonies.
Yeah, there's ceremonies that they communicate to the heaven. Also ceremonies where they hold respect to the ancestors. Those are the important ones. There are a lot of elaborate ceremony rules are studied very carefully.
But how is it consistent with the way it used to be in the 3 big emperors, the great emperors?
Even a lot of the text about those ceremonies, they're supposed to be coming from ancient times, and even just 2,000 years ago, people think they already lost it, and they don't really know what's the real real deal. So they think that it's this thing that no matter at which age in Chinese culture, we always think the older traditions are better.
Kind of backward, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot of people
like
think.
in American culture, we are a lot more mercenaries. I mean, we pick whatever works for us. Instead of instead of insisting that the old ways are better or this is superior and so forth. We are so flexible.
That is a very
It is temporarily superior, and then and then we move on.
Yeah, it's a very
So it's a different kind of thinking. Asian thinking, Asian culture versus Western culture, or what?
I think there's some truth to that. It's a very common criticism of Chinese culture is that we always hold the old tradition to be more superb.
Meaning they're superior knowledge.
Yes.
You own the superior knowledge. I see. Other Asians, do you agree or disagree with that? We need to learn from this to make sure that we understand the essence of the Asian cultures. I'm curious. Okay, feel free to chime in when you're ready. So Fuli here, so according to your perspective, meaning that you restore the proper etiquette, the proper observations that they used to be essential practice, superior practice. Is that it? Korean culture have similar concepts or not? Nay. Okay, they said yes, them too. Confusion. People. Yes, 3.
And just adding more context to it, so Confucianism, this is very big. This phrase, 克己复礼, is very central to Confucian's teachings. One of the historic contexts is Confucius. The time he lived was at the warring states, right? Spring and autumn warring states time. Basically, China had many little kingdoms, and then there's been constant wars. A lot of fascinating stories from that time. Master, you talk about a lot of them. But so from the Confucius perspective, that was not good because there was no there was no harmony. There was a lot of just like fighting, and so back to the 3 emperors' time, they're supposed to have this perfect emperor that just rule the whole country in this harmonious state. So that's why Confucianism really looks up to that.
Yeah. Korea too, Japan too, Vietnam too. Yes, 8.
Master, thank you. So when I first see the slides, I wanted to ask the question, is this Li here the same as the Li we talked about in the 6th Patriarch Sutra, where there's something that 6th Patriarch says, 内心谦下是恭，外行于礼是德. So I wanted to ask, are these 2 Lis referring to the same thing? And after I heard what Ching said, I have the feeling that they are not. The Confucius is referring to the etiquette that was in a more stable and prosperous time in China. While I feel the 6th Patriarch, when he talked about this Li, is referring to the etiquette, not the etiquette of a specific time. Do Do you think that makes sense, or do you feel that the sixth patriarch may be referring to the exact same Li?
No, it's different things. So what Master Huineng was talking about is much more advanced Buddhist concepts, but actually for enlightened people. And it has nothing to do with this, as a matter of fact. What Confucius taught, if this is based on what I heard so far, Fuli here, Keji Fuli here, is, to me, it's to think of yourself as superior, which to me is inferior. You see the problem I have? You think that your ancestors are better, and you belong to the better class, and it's to me, it's flagrant disregard for the ones that are better than your ancestors. You cannot say your ancestor is the best. That's arrogant. Okay, so this is what one of the things I had problems with Confucius is basically he's catering. He's doing a sales jobs on the rulers of the country. He says, you are rulers, your ancestors are better. Okay, used to be good, used to be better, and that's what we need to get back to, and so forth. And to me, it's failing to recognize that there are also other standards of excellence that's at least are competitive and not better than China. So who are you to decide that your ancestors are the best? And I'm surprised that the dukes and the emperors and the kings did not object to that. Okay? If I heard it today, I say, wait a minute, I know Korea is wonderful and everything, but you're not the only one. This is the kind of thinking we have nowadays is much more multidimensional. Everything has many, many facets. Okay? And so that's why this is to me, that's one of the weaknesses of Confucius' teaching. He kisses up to the people in power. That's annoying to me. Okay? Yes, was there a question? Just anyone to even strike up a thought, I'm better or we are better, is nonsense. There's no such a thing. Okay? To me, I feel there's so many people much better than we are. Why is that? That's my proof right there. You can't see. So many of them. Look, the Avatamsaka Sutra. Look at the description. When the Buddha was speaking the sutra, there's the countless Mahasattvas and surrounded by their own retinues of Bodhisattvas, and all Bodhisattvas who come across as even like a servant and so forth, protecting and serving their leaders. There are countless numbers of them. Why can't we see it? It's because we're not good enough. To think you better is nonsense, because the Avatamsaka Sutra constantly reminds us every week there's such people out there who rule over us, world rulers, more than the Speaker of the House or the presidents or the emperors, They rule over all of them. We can't even see them. They don't even bother with us. All right. And so Master YongHua is a very proud Chinese person. He shares the superior aspects of a Chinese cultures. And I look upon Confucius' teachings, the majority of the Confucius teaching to me is backward. There's some good foundations there, but it's on a lower end of the spirituality of virtues. This is what bothers me, is Confucius' teaching is not virtuous enough. That's all. Look, he means to appeal to the ruling class, the emperors and the dukes and the kings and the queens. Those are not the most virtuous people in the world. Okay, continue, please.
You should discipline yourself at all times. A Mahasava does not discipline others.
Can I have the screen here of intertemple thing? I don't need two of them. Thank you. Okay. Is there more than here? Than this slide here? Continue.
Mahasava. The Mahasava does not discipline others. They discipline themselves. Amitabha Buddhas each look after themselves. Did I look after myself?
Okay, so let me go back a little bit here, and so that we don't have to go very far. Where is this slide? This cursor. Okay, 121. The Master says, you should 观自己, you should watch yourself at all times, not discipline. It's a watch yourself. Okay? 观着自己, he just said, you pay attention to yourself. You don't pay attention to others. Pay attention to others.
You should pay attention.
Okay. So, in the next, he says, the Mahasattva does not watch others, only watch themselves. They only watch themselves. Okay? Guan here is not to manage here, but one here is to pay attention to. Okay, and that's part of our Buddhist teaching of looking to Hei Guang Fan Zhao, is to return the light. Return the light is meaning that as you see things, okay, as you see phenomena, as you see events happening in front of your eyes, okay, whatever you see, okay, let me elaborate for you. When you see something happens and you are afflicted by it, if you see it's like a movie, it's not a problem. James Bond, just watch, enjoy, okay. But when you see if something happens that you happen to witness, and it afflicts you, this is why the Chinese teaching is a little bit vague than it should be. And it has to be. So, 这回光返照 is that when you see something and you're afflicted by it, if you're not afflicted by it, no problem. If the kid screams, no problem. You're not afflicted. If you're afflicted, that's when you have to look at yourself, look back. Why am I afflicted? Why? Is that clear? Otherwise, you look at a piece of wood, say, and you return the light to yourself. So, how are you going to find time, to do it all day? It's totally useless. You see how clever the Chinese teaching is? It's somewhat abstract. You have to figure it out. And that's why I'm from the Western education system. So it bothered me. I said, return the light? What light, first of all? What light are we talking about? Okay? And here he explains that the Mahasatva, someone who has the wisdom, only pays attention to himself. What is he paying attention to? He pays attention, even a Mahasatva pays attention to himself. Why? This is a proof. Why does he pay attention to himself? From what I just explained to you, how can I claim that the Mahasatva pays only attention to himself? Yes. 3.
They still need to improve to become Buddha.
They're afflicted. They're still afflicted. If they're not afflicted, they're not going to pay attention to themselves. So that's the proof right here, and that the Chinese refuse to tell their own followers that Mahasattvas are afflicted too. They get afflicted too, just like us. And somehow, because it's not explained to their followers, the followers have this misconception. The bodhisattvas are like so mystical. You don't understand, they're perfect. And then I read this and there's contradiction here. Clearly, they're not perfect. Clearly, they are afflicted. Does it make sense to you? So there's some advantages to the Chinese style of teaching, but it causes confusion for low-level people. And maybe it's by design so that you are so impressed that you continue to give your wealth to the temple, as if we deserve it automatically. Okay, yeah. So anyway, so the Mahasattva here does not watch others. Meaning, whatever happens, they don't engage. But only when they're afflicted. That's why they don't engage in in others, okay, they only watch their own afflictions. If they find during the day, like us, they're afflicted by something, and the difference between them and us is that we are constantly afflicted. They are not. They are occasionally afflicted. Okay? Anyone would like to ask me a question? I'm opening the door for you to ask questions. It's called active listening. Yes, do.
Master, so a Mahasattva can go throughout the whole day without thinking, whereas a regular, ordinary person thinks as soon as they wake up, thinking all day. So thinking's an affliction, but then they can get afflicted just sometimes, so a random thought could go to a Mahasattva.
Repeat the last sentence.
Mahasattvas, they can go all day without thinking. So do they think sometimes? If they get afflicted sometimes?
They do, I think. Okay, JMT.
대보살이 다른 사람에게 관심을 두지 않는다고 하셨는데 다른 사람한테 관심을 두지 않는데 어떻게 다른 사람을 도울 수 있을까요?
Master, you just said the Mahabodhisattvas doesn't pay attention to others. Then how can they help others?
How can they help others if they don't pay attention? To others? That's a good question. None of your business, but it's a good question. Okay? Good question. Let me think about it. Anyone else? Anyone would like to answer her? Yes. 3.
I had the same question. Actually, when I heard this phrase, Master YongHua said this before, and that was my impression. Especially the later part, it says Emitofuo does that too. But then when Jumi asked, I thought recently, a few lectures ago, Master talked about when you return light within, you can solve problems by doing that. I think it's one of the Avatasagga Sutra lecture. You explained that.
Okay.
You just return the light and then everything. Yeah, I forgot the exact wording, but you basically figures out everything that way.
Let's hear from Wei Mao.
No, Master, I just wanted to say, back in the day, I've read a lot of books, and then they say that a 4-state arhat is totally perfect. They have no affliction. And I have a misconception of that for
Which
a long
book is
time.
that? This is exactly the same books I read too, probably.
It's in Vietnamese, and there's a verse saying that if you light up the cây đuốc, and then you walk around the Saha world, you would not be able to find one 4-state arhat. That's how rare it is.
Okay, that's nonsense. You can throw away those types of books from that author. Okay, very easy. Okay, enough is enough. We have enough junk out there. So you don't need, the way we manage this mess here is that such people who utter such nonsenses, throw them out, forget it, ignore them. Yeah? And that's why I did. I threw out a lot of books. Electronically, files as well. I dumped them all. YouTube question.
Ready? Yes, Vicky has a question. She says, what are Mahasattvas afflicted by?
Okay. How can Mahasattvas know who to help and how to help others if they don't pay attention to others? What happened is that Mahasattvas are not the same as us. They have something that we don't have. They have compassion. Compassion meaning that when others really hurt, they really hurt too themselves. And that's why, and that's right there, is the secret ingredient. When someone hurts, someone is suffering, and the Mahasattva feels the same kind of suffering, then he naturally will find a way to fix it himself by fixing the person who's hurting. Am I making sense? That's all. That's how they operate. They operate. They don't necessarily go around and say, who I'm going to help today. Okay? What they do is they decided to look at all the suffering in the world and they said, well, I would like to help these types of people who are suffering. Okay? So for example, for a bodhisattva like Mr. Buffet, he says, I'm gonna help by making money and donating to charity, so that my money will provide relief for the people who are suffering, the people who need clothing, the people who need medicine, the people who need to be educated, and so forth. So that's what he decided to do. Okay? And that's why he says, I'm going to come to the Saha world and help with charity. And also, not only that, I also want to be a role model for responsible business practices so that the other businessmen, the other executive, the other successful investors will do the proper things in making money. And that's why I'm critical of him. He didn't push it far enough. That the money you use to do charity work has to be cleanly earned. Because you're the one who has wisdom. You don't need to earn money uncleanly, okay? In an unclean fashion. Anyway, he's too old to learn. You too.
We have one comment and one question. Diego has a comment. I think bodhisattvas see how we behave, but they are not afflicted by it. They don't judge our actions. They see, yet they don't see. So when we ask them, we open the door for them to help us. And the question, would you like to hear the question too?
Mm-hmm.
Is from Daniel Carrasco, and it's seconded by He Fang. Master, how often do you get afflicted? And besides sitting, what do you do to get over the affliction?
I get afflicted daily. Not just daily, every minute. So what I do to reduce it, I hope to become enlightened so that I get less afflicted. Okay. Now it's becoming a call to Master YongHua's JMT.
춘이 제가 궁금한 걸 자주 질문해줘서 많이 고맙고요. 텍스트를 보면 이기적인 무소용 아란을 언급하는 것 같습니다. 께서 네, 아란, 네네, 페러사이드 아란, 네, 감사합니다. 텍스트에는 이제 마살이 다른 사람한테 관심을 안 준다고 했잖아요. 근데 그거는 대보살이 하는 것 같지 않고 뭔가 이기적이고 이렇게 다른 사람한테 기여함이 없는, 그러니까 페러사이드 아라한을 말하는 것 같다고. 네네, 맞습니다. 네네. 네네, 그런 거냐. 네.
Here, they describe that Mahabodhisattva is not paid attention to others. To me, it does sound like a selfish, parasitic, no use arhat.
세라님, 죄송한데 춘한테 항상 제가 궁금했던 걸 자주 질문해줘서
And also, Chun, I thank you for the questions that you have been asking because I have the same questions. Thank you.
No, it's not the way it sounds. This is why, Jumi, you should be careful. Do not badmouth arhats or bodhisattvas. It's unwise for you to do that. Even if they're wrong, you're not supposed to say anything. Okay? In this case, you are wrong. You're the one who's wrong. They're not wrong. Okay, it's not the way you think. This is why you have to be careful, especially for you as Buddhist disciples. Don't criticize others. In particular, don't criticize monks and nuns, because a lot of bodhisattvas and mahasattvas hide among the monks. Okay, so be extremely careful, because if you make the mistake of criticizing and maybe insulting a monk or nun who happen to be very high level bodhisattva, boy, do I feel sorry for you. I can't help you. It's one of the worst things you can do. I saw my master's disciples behave like that, and even my masters let them perish. He wouldn't touch them. Okay, so please don't do that. Don't make that same mistake. Even if it's the worst monk, the worst possible things they did, you shut up, because it's none of your business. You don't bring it up. You don't look at it. It's none of your business. Because you don't understand. You sit like a ways here. Mahasattva does not watch others. They only watch themselves. It sounds pretty selfish. You simply say, the first thought in your mind, oh boy, are they so selfish? But it's not what it means. It's not the way it sounds. Okay? So be careful. Don't criticize them. Don't badmouth people. And since you just badmouth the Mahasattva, okay, go and repent to Master Ji. And Americans have a saying, go wash your mouth with soap. Okay, JC.
네, 한국어 유튜브에 올라온 성복님 질문입니다. 스승님, 질문할 수 있게 해주셔서 감사합니다. 제가 어떤 대생에게 분노를 일으키거나 탐욕, 즉 성욕 혹은 훔치고 싶은 마음을 일으키면 그 사람에게 빚을 지는 것인지 궁금합니다.
Master, thank you for
Thưa thầy, cảm ơn thầy.
Master, thank
Thưa
you.
thầy.
Master, thank you for giving me an opportunity to ask this question. If I have an anger or greed, and especially sexual desire, and also wanted to steal something, if these kind of mind arise, am I owed to that subject?
Am I what?
When I see someone, and then if I have these feelings arise from my mind, do I owe to this subject, to this person?
You don't worry about whether you owe that person or not. That's irrelevant. You're chasing after information that is not useful, is counterproductive. The things where you should be seeking, information you should be seeking, that will help you fix the problem. Okay, so to say, I owe that problem, so even if you know that's the case, what are you going to do about it? What if you're wrong? So the thing is, in Buddhism, we don't need to know you owe. You don't really need to know you owe that person or not. It's not that important. The more important thing to do is that if you have such negative thoughts, you need to repent, because you're creating offenses. You are creating mind karmas, meaning you have these negative thoughts in your mind. Even if no one knows, you still are creating karmas. And because of that, you will bear the consequences. You created an offense, okay, and therefore you have to suffer for it. Yeah. So you need to repent, and then you need to learn to cultivate harder, to find a way to avoid creating such offenses in the future. And that's much more important. And that's a different kind of knowledge. That's a lot more productive than simply finding out, did I owe or didn't I owe? How does it help you? If you owe that person, and now what? You pay? And then now, next question, I pay this, I pay that. Would that be enough? And then the next question is that, wait, what if I owe that person in the prior lives? How can I make sure I pay that off too? Right? So you go on and on and on. It's not going to help you at all. Okay? So that's why it's futile pursuit to seek such knowledge. And this is what a lot of people are doing. They're seeking the kind of knowledge that will drown them in more knowledge, and without being able to do anything about it. The one thing that I like about Master YongHua's Dharma, you may disagree with his Chinese style and so forth, what he does is so unique way of teaching Buddhism that I haven't seen in all the other patriarchs from China, except for the special ones like Bodhidharma, like his sixth patriarch and so forth. Those are not the typical patriarchs. But all the other patriarchs, including the current one, they don't have such wisdom. They're more catering to your thirst for knowledge. I want to know this, I want to know that, and they impress you with their knowledge. Instead of trying to teach you, trying to convince you that you can rise above that. You can rise above making mistakes. And that's the name of the game. Cultivation is to stop creating offenses and become a better person. So everything is geared towards that. Master YongHua instructions are all, see, do this, do that. When you have this problem, this is what you do to fix it. Okay? And if you Even he teaches about do not watch other. It means that stop creating offenses. Okay? You don't look at other people's offenses. You only look at yourself. That's what he's talking about. Okay? And he doesn't say that, look at her. Look at the way she dressed. She's not, she's a nun, but she dresses, she wears this funny shirt like a lumberjacks wear, and you go on and on about what someone is doing wrong. Okay? And you look for flaws. You will find endless flaws in everyone. Whereas you should be minding your business and say, their flaws, none of my business. I look at my own flaws and fix mine. And that's what Master YongHua is teaching us. He's the only one I know of. Recent patriarchs from China, from Taiwan, from Japan, from Vietnam, from Sri Lanka, and so forth, who says, mind your business and fix your own mistakes. I will teach you how. He's the only one I know of. Okay? That's all. So please be careful. Don't make the same mistake. Like my disciples of my generation, they think they're better, and they start looking at everyone through their special lenses they acquired from their own practice. You see, you don't get it. Okay? And don't ever criticize the Sangha. Don't make that mistake. Because I watch it and I see how my master, who is the only one who can cover for them, refused to help them. He let them sink. There's a warning for you and for me. Be very careful. If you happen to criticize a sage or slander a sage, no one is going to teach you. And that's one of the worst things could happen to you. If you do that as a habit, to say, you see, this person is so bad, he gambles, he drinks, and so forth. Okay? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. Okay? Even if you're right, and there happened to be a Mahasattva who's doing that, maybe part of the Tongshi, meaning similar work, same work. Okay? And you dare insult them. How many Bodhisattva Mahasattvas you know who dare to do same work? And who are you to criticize them? You don't know anything. You don't see anything. You only see a little. All of you can see only a little bit of this, and you think you understand everything. And if you make that mistake of insulting them, criticizing them, and worse yet, slandering them, I, too, will not touch you. My master, let them sink and suffer. He's the only one I know of who can help them, protect them, but he did not. We are all responsible for our own karmas, so be careful. The one thing I need to warn you is obvious to me, especially in our era, Dharma ending era, is very easy to look at the faults of the Sangha and criticize them. I hope your generation will not make that mistake. Because if you do, I assure you that the only people, the only Sanghas who are willing to teach you are the mediocre ones. The good ones would never touch you. Never, ever. So go and repent. All right. Anyone else? This is so important. Don't make this mistake. Especially you. I teach you a little bit. You think you know more than others. You don't, you refrain from criticizing others, please. Don't go there. Okay? This is one of the worst things that will happen to you, is the good teachers will not touch you, will not help you. That's even worse than going to the hells. I assure you, it's a lot worse than going to the hells. You'll be suffering and you'll be stupid, more like forever. No one's going to touch you. Not the good ones I know of, they will not touch you. Okay, continue, please.
Sir, did you want to talk about this slide?
Oh, we did look at this slide. Amitabha Buddha look after themselves. They are look after myself. Go. What does it mean in Chinese? Is that, you agree with the translation into English? You're the Chinese specialist. I'm not 8. I only know the Dharma. I don't understand Chinese. Yes?
To me, it sounds more like they mind their own business.
But why Amitabha Buddha? Korean translation. Why this? This is Chinese. You should understand this. Vietnamese, Koreans, you have a direct translation, one-to-one translation. What does it mean? Old monk, what does it mean? A-di-đà Phật. Các. Gu. What's gu in Vietnamese? Các. Gu các. What does it mean? It bothered me too. I read this and I also heard the translation in English as well. Couldn't understand it. Never could understand it. And tonight I have to explain it to you. I can't avoid my stupidity. What does it mean? What does Amitabha Buddha has to do with this? Heidi, is it better from there, looking at that, or looking at over here? The text is there. I see, and here, and there. Oh, I see. How did you guys decide where to put the text? There, on this side, or what? And this is just intertemple sceneries? Ah, okay. Cool. What does it mean? Yes, 8.
I also don't think this specifically refers to Amitabha Buddha. I think this refers to Buddhas in general.
Then why do you say Emitofuo? You could have said Fo Gu, Fo Ge, Gu Ge. Even punchier. Huh? What do you think? What's a plausible explanation for this? Because it doesn't make sense. Amitabhas each look after themselves. Yes. 3.
I just make a wild guess. Maybe it means reciting the Buddha's name, you only look at yourself.
Okay, you too.
Daniel Wisniewski asks, Amitofo Master, so criticizing creates mental karmas. How to prevent such karmic buildups?
Don't criticize. Don't go there. I'm just taught you only one thing. Don't criticize the Sangha. Don't make that mistake. Only stupid people will make that mistake. The reason being that there are many Mahasattvas hiding as lowlifes in a Sangha. So many of them. Don't you dare criticize them. If you do, the good ones will not teach you. Okay, how about if I offer you this, my version tonight, okay, just for tonight, okay, because I don't understand this, I still don't. Okay, he says, Emitofuo, Ge Gu Ge, 2 different ideas. It's like, Emitofuo. It's an exclamation. Oh, Buddha. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Just mind your business. It's not Amitabha mind his business. No. Oh, my God, don't do that. Don't look at others' faults. Oh my God, how could you? And the Chinese, they don't say, oh my God, they say, Emitofuo. You like it? I taught him today how to use a cannon to shoot at airplanes. He likes it. Huh? This makes more sense to me than to say that Amitabha looks only at himself. Baloney. Amitabha does not look at himself. This doesn't make sense. Yes, old monk.
Như là Phật cũng giống như là thí dụ cái giống như là hư không có nhìn hư không không? Đâu có ta có người gì mà nhìn ở đâu?
Hư không đâu có cần nhìn hư không đâu. Tầm bậy.
Tự biết mình nhìn một cái đối tượng khác nữa.
Không có dùng hư không được.
Con thí dụ vậy thôi, cái tuyệt đối của cái chân không đó là Phật là 10 phương đều giống nhau. Rồi nhìn ở đâu nữa?
No. Phật không có nhìn mình. Phật đâu cần nhìn mình. Translation.
Emitofuo, to me, just like an analogy, is the Buddha, just like emptiness. Does emptiness look at other emptiness? And Master say, no, it's not that way. So Venerable Shinchu say that Buddha of the 10 direction is the same thing, so they don't have to look at each other. What is that for? And Master say, no, it's not that way.
Anyway, translation you missed a lot, and the subtleties, but that's understandable. So to say that Amitabha look after themselves, look at themselves only, is nonsense, because the Buddha doesn't look at themselves. It's funny that I'm the only who asked the question. No one asked Master Shiva this question. What does it mean? Why does Amitabha have to look at himself? Does it make sense? You too.
Diego's interpretation here, he's asking if this is correct. He says, maybe even Buddhas never judge anyone, so how can we dare to judge others?
But here is about each Buddha look after themselves. This is the expression. The Chinese way says, Amitabha Buddha, each minds his business, his own business. That's what the Chinese literally. Okay, but it's not. But it's only because you group it wrong. I would add like an apostrophe. Emitofuo, ge gu ge. Okay, meaning that, oh my God, stop it. It's absurd. Emitofuo this is absurd. It has nothing to do with Amitabha Buddha. But again, I'm not Chinese, so please shoot me down. That's the only way for me to interpret this. Emitofuo, oh my God, oh man, hey dude. Each looks at himself. See, that's why he said, did I look at myself? It used to bother me so much. Amitabha looks at himself, Bodhisattva looks at himself. What kind of nonsense is that? Why the Buddha have to look at himself? They're Buddhas, they're not the same as us. They can look at anything they want. They don't need to look at themselves. Nonsense. Yeah, they're Buddhas, not just enlightened, they're Buddhas. They can do anything they want. Anything. And it still makes sense. So why do they have to look at themselves? Wei Mao.
Master, the previous translation make me have an impression as if Master YongHua is the level of the Buddha, because he knows what the Buddha is doing.
No, I just explained to you. It's, oh my God. It's not talking about Amitabha. It's just a Chinese expression. Oh my God. Hey man. Nowadays we call it, hey man. We don't say Emitofuo here in America. Hey dude. Just look at yourself. Mind your own business. The expression mind your own business in English means that others' business is none of your problem, none of your business. Look at your own problems. Okay, continue. But again, we're open to suggestions. This is my interpretation. Feel free to shoot me down and suggest something better than that. You have to convince me that Amitabha Buddha actually looks at himself, which is total nonsense. Let me tell you right now, Amitabha Buddha, I'm no Buddha, but I can tell you that Buddhas don't look at themselves. You too.
Diego says, Amitofo Master, maybe Master YongHua was saying that because of the level of his attendees, it was a teaching for them at that moment?
No, not how you express it. Okay, next. Any other YouTube questions? Okay, continue, please.
All in all, if you really want to do it for the true, bodhisattvas will help you.
Translation has some little bit of a problem. Okay? 总而言之. So, all in all, okay, that's fine. 你若想往生了做了做往生了做 okay? That's fine. It should be a le, not liao, right? Chinese people should be le, right? 往生了做
I think it's liao.
If it's a le, then does it have to be there? Shouldn't it be 往生的做 instead of 往生了做? I'm asking about Chinese semantics. If it's a le, shouldn't that be a the? Huh? The is better than le. It should be liao. Three.
The liao here doesn't really mean much. It's just a sound there. You don't have to translate the liao, in my opinion.
Then so it's le 往生了做
真的做 yeah 真
往生的做 Why it has to be 往生了往生了做 Is that because he's from Dongbei? His grammar is different from ours. So it's le, right? Okay, fine. So he says, if you want to, you think, if you want, you aspire to go towards the true to do, then bodhisattvas will help you. So it means that if you want to do the true, then bodhisattvas will help you. Agree or disagree? Assuming that's the idea, what is he talking about? If you want to do what's true, if you want to do truthful things, bodhisattvas will help you. What does it mean? You see, these simple expressions, they sound simple, but actually they contain a lot of dharmas here. Yes, too.
Master, I remember you said before, if it was a couple years ago, that as long as you're doing good, if you're on the good side, you will get help from like spiritual kind of help. And I think that's what that means with bodhisattvas.
But it has more than just the good, but he's talking about the true here. Yes, 3. There's a difference between the good and the true.
True is Buddha nature. So if you're doing things coming from your Buddha nature, the motivation is coming from your Buddha nature. That's true.
Low-level people don't need to know about Buddha nature. This is the context. He's talking about to the common man. Okay, you have to be truthful. For example, Asians or most people nowadays, they're so concerned about losing face, and that's being false. That's being untrue, if you will. They said, "I don't care what happens. Don't make me lose my face. Don't make me look bad." Malcolm, is that what you know? Is that clear? I mean, this is important to people nowadays. Don't make me look bad. Okay? And therefore, we're condoning them being untrue, which is not the way of cultivation at all. Because it's untrue. If you like that, you will not make progress. Now, temples, you can put facades and so on. I respect your boundaries, but when it's time for you, if you really want to improve, I will unveil your true motives. And you have nowhere to hide, because I will make you lose face. You cannot pretend. You can pretend. And you ask me. I did the same too. I pretended, put on a facade. And so before I saw Master YongHua, I did a smart thing. What did you think I did? What do you think I did? I told him, don't reveal me. Don't expose me. He didn't. Okay? But if you want to improve, if you want to learn, okay, there's no room for you to be afraid to lose face. Because we will expose you. You too.
I have a couple comments. Zhihong says, Wang Zhen Le Zuo means you are a serious cultivator. You take cultivation seriously.
Okay, you're right. Then it's different. That helps. That's better. That's a better interpretation. Okay? If you are going towards really doing it, that I like it. Thank you. That really helps. I think it would be better if you could have said Wang Zheng De Zuo. Huang Cheng Le Zuo is a little bit confusing to me. Okay, but I like that interpretation. Thank you. It really helps me. You too. Continue.
Diego says, you have to be truthful. You want to accomplish something with your true mind, not your confused mind or your ego.
Yeah, but we're not going there anymore. Here is basically, Master Shohai said, you really want to do it. You really want to cultivate. You really want to improve. You really want to make a difference. You really want to help the world. You truly want to do it. Then Bodhisattva will step up and help you out. You really have to want it first. No one's going to force you. You want to rise above your mediocrity. You have to prove that you really want to rise above it. And then the Bodhisattva will help you. It's not about you being right. Not about you being comfortable. Not about you being light. You want to really improve. You really want to improve. You really want to cultivate badly. And then Bodhisattvas will help you. That's the message here. Okay? So edit, remove the for, the true, dropped it. Not just cultivation. If you really want to make a difference, you want to really help the poor, you want to help the helpless, you want to help the solitary ones. You really want to do that, Bodhisattvas will step up. You don't have to be Buddhists. Okay? YouTube.
He Feng asks, Master, is this right? At our level, strong attachment to desire or hate, strong emotion is an affliction, while at further levels, maybe even a slight discrimination could be an affliction, or a slight thought could be an affliction. But for a bodhisattva, to raise a thought when saving living beings is a kind of affliction they have to bear. That's why they also get afflicted, but different from ours. Is this understanding correct?
First of all, the first part is correct. When you're low level, what I call is your affliction are pretty coarse. Like you feel like eating, and you say, I gotta eat, I gotta get a burger, I need a burger flavor. Okay. And that's the other night. Someone gave me some throat lozenges in Weymouth. I said, does it have burger flavor? Because I felt like hungry. I felt like a burger. Okay, so that's pretty coarse. You gotta have it, otherwise you die. That's rather coarse. And when you get better and you improve, then those afflictions are a lot lighter. The affliction then become, for example, just as an example for comparison purposes, you feel like, I'm a little bit hungry. Whereas the coarse affliction would be, I need to eat something. Okay? And coarse yet, I need a burger. I do feel hungry right now. Maybe it's the bad weather. Okay, so yes, so at a coarser levels, you see the coarse desires that will pop up. Whereas you get higher and higher, they become lighter and lighter. Similarly, depression. People have depression. They, for example, this is typical for so many of you who have depression. You at a course level, you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like going out of bed. And to the point where you stay in bed. Okay, you wake up, you're awake already, but you're just not going to get up. You just sit there, lie there, and keep on thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. Okay? But you're not going to get out of bed. Worse yet, some people are so severely depressed, they simply lie there, I'm not going to get out. I'm not going to get up. Nothing worthwhile for me to get up and do. That's severe depression. Okay? As you improve, then your samadhi level is higher, meaning such coarse thoughts will no longer pop up in your mind. However, depression still manifests itself because they don't give up. When you have depression, they follow you for life. That's the bad news. The good news is that if you improve, your depression attacks become lighter and lighter. So at first, they're like, I don't feel like getting up. I feel like killing myself. That's very, very coarse, right? And as you improve, now the thoughts of depression arise and said, I'm a little bit lazy today. Let me sleep in a little bit longer. And that's depression attack. You see? It's still depression, but it's lighter. They attack you. They continue to attack you in different ways, but it's a lot more manageable than lower level people. Okay? And again, ladies and gentlemen, stop trying to interpret what bodhisattvas do, what motivates bodhisattvas. Okay? Only stupid people would do that, because bodhisattvas would not even try. Okay, so that's why people always confuse. People are constantly trying to interpret, why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? Why? And it's because, and they come up with reasons. They want to find out why. They argue with each other, they debate it, and justifying the bodhisattva's motives and aspirations. It's total nonsense. Cut it out. Don't waste time. Don't go there. Okay? Does it help? Okay. Don't waste time. Basically, it's a waste of time. Anyone who engages with you will be wasting their time as well. Okay. 5 more minutes. Continue, please.
你要不想往真了做，往真了修行，菩萨也不管。
If you don't really want to do it, you don't truly want to cultivate, then bodhisattvas won't care about you.
Yeah. Why should bodhisattvas care about you? You don't want to do it. The bodhisattvas help you because they really want you to improve, to do it better. If you really don't want to do it better, then why should they bother? It's that simple. Next. It's just like at the beginning, like Jumi says, I want to do it my way. And I've been here I've been coming here twice already at Wei Mountain Temple. I've been here if you don't help me, you don't teach me, I'm going to leave. That's the wrong way. Continue.
今年呢，11年我就快过完了，明年是
Now this year is almost over. Today is the 23rd. Tomorrow will be the 24th.
This year 过完了，以后有一个新年了。我们这个新年要做一个新年，把那个旧的放下。
When this year's over, a new year will come. In the new year, we should again be a new person and let go all the old.
也就是做一个新修行。中国的叫老修行，老修行。这个修行呢，修行老的。
To be a new person is to be a new cultivator. In China, the so-called old cultivators, that is to cultivate until we become old.
I don't know where it's going. Okay, never mind. Okay, stop. We don't have time. Okay. So I like to discuss this concept where it says a new year, you have a new person. I like that. I think intuitively, most of us like the fact there's a new year. Yes? And that you can forget about the old year and you start anew again. So more or less forgive yourself. And reset and start over again. Okay, I really like it. I think it's very helpful. So this celebration of New Year and so forth, I think it does something psychologically to us that help us sort of reset and start over. So give us hope, and sort of like forgive and forget yourself. Does it make sense? This is like, to me, it's like forgive yourself for your past mistakes. You screwed up last year, but it's okay now. This is New Year, now start over again. And to me, it's such an important thing. Psychologically, it's so helpful. Every year, it's like that. You agree or disagree? I think it's such a good tradition to enjoy. So that's why I'm going to have a New Year's party, right? You didn't see it coming, did you? Okay, but no, seriously, to me it's such an important, I'd like to bring it up to your attention, because to me, before I met Buddhism, this is what motivated me, is that I screwed up this past year, but this is New Year, let's drink, let's celebrate, and then we start a new year and forget about the past headaches and heartaches and failures and so forth. And even the successes, we're going to do better. So to me, the New Year concept is such an awesome concept. It's so helpful. It's so motivational, so inspiring to me. Agree or disagree? I'm going somewhere, so bear with me. Besides the party thing. Okay? So, why do you have to wait till the New Year? Have you ever asked yourself? I admit to you, every New Year I liked it. Besides the champagne and the fireworks and so forth. And 6, 5, 4, Happy New Year! It's so cool, okay? However, why do you have to wait for it to happen only once a year? And my point being, yes, you too.
Pingdong Qingjing asks, Master, how do I differentiate between depression thought, the depression thought to sleep versus you are sick and overworked and you need to sleep more?
I don't know. I don't have time for that. Not tonight, honey. Okay? Okay. Can I finish my chain of thought before I forget? Don't distract me. I refuse to get distracted. Remember, I mind my business. Go, go, go. Okay? Tonight, allow me. Okay? Still more YouTube question?
Yes.
I'm going to ignore you.
One more from Cordelia.
Yes.
She asks, Master, where'd it go? I've been feeling hypersomnia during this Chanchi. Is this depression?
Hypersomnia? What's hypersomnia?
Yes, she said that it's too much sleeping.
Too much sleeping? Yes. For you, yeah. Okay, so I submit to you, why we have to wait until New Year's to say, let's forget about, let's reset, let's forget about, the past, let's start over again and be better. Why wait till once a year? I propose that we should do it more often. We should forgive ourselves. We should say that, yes, I screwed up. Yes, but I'm going to do better. But don't wait until the New Year's to do that. Do it more often, like a performance review or something at work. 3 months or so, 6 months or so, a year or so. You look. The boss says, "Oh, you did good here. You did bad there. So this is where you need to improve." Okay, that is helpful to me. No, you disagree? Okay, and so my point being that, how about when you improve, when I tell you, hey, you improved? It's meant to remind you, you're no longer the same person. It's no longer the old year. It's no longer the old person. Don't keep on thinking, I'm special, I'm baby, I'm special. Like me. Indulge me. But I just told you, you're first stage arhat now, meaning you have a little bit of wisdom now. You have to stop thinking like that. You should do better. How about that? Don't wait until New Year and tell yourself. Okay? Do it periodically, and we can help you. That is, every time we tell you, hey, you improve. You are at higher standards. You should let go of the bad habits of greed, anger, stupidity. You realize that eventually you see that you're not as greedy as before. You're not as angry as before. Okay? That's your New Year's resolution right there. Even like it's small things like us, small temple like us, when you come here and you meditate, I'm so pleased. I see you meditating until midnight and so forth. Did you? You can't even do an hour. Okay? You fight like that. You try your hardest, and you fail, and you try again, and you try again, and try again. And that's this process here. This time period for us is to fail. Everyone fails. Don't feel bad. You're not the only one. We all fail during the Chanchi. But when you work hard in this environment here, you have a chance to improve. You become a new person, a new cultivator. Okay, we have to come back to this slide 128 here because I ran out of time. Okay, so I like you to think about it. I like you to think about renewal, meaning in the context of if you improve, then you should raise your standards yourself. Okay, and that has nothing to do with New Year. It is much more important than a New Year thing. New Year thing is just a human custom. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? It's raging now. Time is up. He says, "Hey, it's past 9 o'clock. We need to get out of here." Yes, 3.
We're not getting anywhere anyway, so we're all stuck here. So it doesn't matter to stay for a few minutes again.
Yeah, but I have people in other way places, like in San Jose. I'm worried about them having to go home, and the weather can be very treacherous. So be careful, please be careful. I don't want anything to happen to them. So please go home. Okay, if you can stay at the temple. All right, feel free. If you feel that it's not a wise thing to go home right now, stay around, stick around. We have enough space for you to accommodate all of you who made it to the temple, to our way places. Okay. Thank you, everyone.